Welcome to the Voice of the Coast. I am your host, Danica. Along with me, we have the mayor of the City of Berwick. That's right, you heard me say City of Berwick, and that is why we are meeting today for the official designation of the town of Berwick now as a city with our mayor. We have Mayor Duval Arthur, who is going to tell us a little bit more about how that announcement came to be.
Well, thank you, Danica, for inviting me to come talk about it. We're extremely excited about it. That was one of the goals that we set when we got elected, myself and the council. Very proud of our council and all the good ideas they come up with. But that was something we wanted to do, is become a city. In becoming a city, what does that mean? How is that, the only advantage it gives you, it gives you the distinction of when you file for a grant, you get more money than the town would get. Yep. So that means a lot to us because we do a lot of grants. And now that we're becoming a city, we're going to do those grants as a city, and we'll get, instead of the usual $35,000 a year for a certain thing like capital outlay or LCAP or different types of grants, instead of getting $35,000, we'll now get $50,000, so that'll help us.
I do know that we have been talking about this for quite some time, and
Right.
This is before the census came out in 2020.
That's right.
When you were first elected, this is something that you really wanted. And,
Yep.
you know, outside of just this, this little structured interview, how do you feel?
Well, I mean, I feel good about it. You know, a person runs for office because they have an idea of things that they want to do to make whether they're representing a town or a city or the parish. You do this because you want to make improvements so that you can sit back and say, I helped that community by doing this, okay? We paved the roads, we filled all the potholes, we got good drinking water, we have a lot of recreation for our children. So all those things are things that we all strive for as public officials, to try to get to that point, that we're providing excellent things for the people that we represent.
You may not say it, but I'll say it. You're going to go down in history.
Oh.
This is all a part of your legacy.
Look, I'm just tickled to death to be part of this, and I love it. I do love it.
And there's the entity, the Louisiana Municipal Association, that makes that designation.
That's
and
correct.
They actually gave you the official announcement, you made the official announcement at the Council of Governments meeting, which was April 24th on a Monday, without any cameras present, but that's okay. We're getting the information now. How did the council feel about that?
Well, it caused a lot of excitement because they know how hard we've been working on this. And they all were at the same meetings we had with the Census Bureau, and I was kind of spearheading or helping as much as I could with the other organizations in trying to get those numbers up for all of us. Because we actually went down as a parish, and when you go down, that same amount of taxes you were hoping you were going to get more of, you get less of. Yes. So it hurts you when your numbers go down. Right. So we worked hard and strive to increase our numbers so we're more successful.
Now, one of my questions was, when does it go into effect? Now, granted, you are right now, today, you are a city.
That's correct.
But when will signage and you got a lot of work to do. This is a lot of work ahead of you.
It's a big obstacle we're going to have to get through. Our signage, our stationery, our business cards, everything's got Town of Berwick on it. We're not going to go out and spend a lot of money on business cards because having the Town of Berwick on the business card is just as good as having the city on it. So we're not going to waste a lot of money on that, but we are going to have to do our stationery and improve that and show that we're a city. A lot of things. Like I say, signs on the side of our cars and trucks, that all has to be changed. Right at City Hall, we went outside to look at what kind of sign we were going to have, and believe it or not, it already says City Hall.
I mean, who says really Town Hall? A lot of times I used to catch myself, I'm going over to City Hall. I mean, Town Hall, Berwick,
Right.
So yeah, it's kind of just slips off your tip of your tongue.
Yeah.
Question for you. So what is the population? Where did
Our
you go from to
population
where you are now?
they're showing right now, the population they have recorded is 128.
Ooh, just over the threshold.
Yep, just over.
We're going to take a short break, but come on back right here. We're talking to Mayor Duval Arthur with the City of Berwick, right here on the Voice of the Coast. Welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Now, you never hear many people say this. The government didn't take long to to make that change.
Right.
You disputed the 2020 numbers in 2022. COVID
Right.
kind of put a hold on a lot of things.
Right.
So you were able to put in, I guess, maybe an appeal or some dispute, and 2022, and now we're in 2023, and here we are today. Like that does not happen. There's so much
No,
red tape.
they actually worked. They worked fast,
Uh-huh.
and I'm very pleased with that. You know, that our numbers increased. Like I say, it's worked out. It's worked out great. Sometimes I wonder if I actually believe in government. Does government work? You know,
Right.
and because sometimes you do things, and it just says, well, okay, well, submit it, but it'll be next year before we make a decision on it.
Hurry up and wait.
And government works so slow sometimes. It's almost like they're at a snail's pace in trying to get something accomplished. And I don't like that. I mean, let's do it and get it over with and move forward, you know?
But I mean, you know what? But you know what that is. I mean, you signed up for it,
Yeah.
right? But
Yeah.
here we are again, City of Berwick. What's your first order of business as a city?
Well, I got a couple of grants that I want to sign off on as a city before we submit them, and got those ready to go. I don't really have like a whole lot of things that I was going to change once we became a city, but I did want us to become a city and have that distinction of being a city versus a town. We've been a town since 1907, which just happens to be the year that our town was incorporated. So we have continued to grow and having been a town for a long time.
Yeah.
It made me feel good for all the previous mayors that we had that worked so hard at doing that. And like I say, they all had the same goal. They all wanted our town to become a city. And like I say, we got.
And it was you.
Well, I just happened to be that person at that time. I was lucky.
Now let's talk about something I find, and I think everybody else will find so interesting. And I'm kind of a true crime. I know a aficionado. I don't know. I mean, if that's the word that I'm going for here. I love to hear these type of stories. Unfortunately, I mean, it's about a serial killer that I'm actually about to talk about. And you're such a decorated police officer, sheriff's detective at one time in your life, and you are being followed, I guess, by a film crew, or you're being interviewed by a film crew about the case on, was it Robert Carl Hohenberger?
Right.
When I first moved here, that was one of the first things I ever heard about. Serial killer that lived in St. Mary Parish, particularly Morgan City, Berwick area, and targeted women and victims in those two, the town at the time and city. And you worked on that case.
Right.
I don't want to say too much more. Can you give us a little synopsis on what your role was?
Well, I was a detective. I was also in charge of the sheriff's department in Morgan City at that time. It was in 1978, and we had 4 detectives down here in Morgan City that worked on that case with me. And our patrol division were watching out for people that looked suspicious, just trying to come up with something to tie this up. The city of Morgan City was actually the first department that received the call that a family had lost a daughter. They'd been kidnapped. And, but we started working together. Sheriff's Department, State Police, FBI, all working as one group and trying to run down leads that may help us in identifying the person and hopefully having a safe return to that family member. Worked on it for, and I want to say this, most serial killers operate for several years and do this and sometimes never get caught. We worked on this for about 3.5 months. And this is an individual that kidnapped and killed 5 children. So we were able to close the case after about 3.5 months.
Okay. I would suggest anyone to do a quick Google search, and a lot of that information will come up. But I'm happy that I'm able to have the opportunity to interview someone who actually was able to close the case on
Right.
a serial killer. So we're going to take a short break. Come on back right here on The Voice of the Coast. Again, welcome back to The Voice of the Coast. I'm going to take advantage of this time and get right back into it again. We're talking to Mayor Duval Arthur of the City of Berwick, and we're talking now about you yourself being involved in this 1978 case involving a serial killer that actually came from, I don't know where he came from, but he was
California.
wanted, where it was California, and he was wanted by the FBI, but kind of settled in the Berwick area. There's so many rumors that had been flying about the situation, but why go with rumors when I have an individual who worked on that case? But you mentioned 4 other individuals who worked with you. Would you, identify them?
There was a lot of officers, many with the Morgan City Police Department, because they, in fact, were the first department to receive that call that there'd been a kidnapping. And then the sheriff's office, myself, Bobby Forage, John Call, and Jim Riley, and Mike Swords. Now, Mike Swords is the only one that's still living out of that group, and myself, that were working on it at the sheriff's department. There were several in Morgan City. Not all of them are deceased. It'd take me a while to think of all of them, but anyway, they had several. I in no way solved this case, okay? I just happened to be one of the ones that found the bodies of the deceased.
Right. Tell us about this gentleman. I mean, you mentioned him as kind of a sadistic individual. What kind of work did he do when he was here?
Well, let me tell you, this is kind of shocking. He was a police officer when he started committing some of these crimes. He was a police officer in Arizona, and he actually raped someone while he was a policeman. And he started off a life of crime. And he went to prison, got out. He never served very much time at all. We actually cleared a cold case on him where he killed a woman in San Bernardino, California. And I got one of the accomplice that was with Hohenberger, and we set up a meeting with them and the detectives from California. We met in Lafayette, brought him in. He told the detectives from California exactly what happened and cleared that case. The district attorney's office out there closed the case. It's solved, and under the hand of Robert Carl Hohenberger.
And I just wanted one more question before we move on to something else. The rumors, I told you, they have been flying around. Even when I got here, I learned a lot of things. The infamous steakhouse. Many people believe that there was a body underneath the steakhouse that's in Morgan City along David Drive?
Yeah. You know, that building just happened to be built at the same time all this stuff started. So we never found the little Rodeman girl's body. So we never really been able to give closure to that family. But there were several rumors around that Hohenberger's accomplice had worked on that building, or when they paved it. So anyway, there was a lot of rumors going around about a lot of things. We had a lot of clairvoyants that made calls, and I tell you, I go back and think about those clairvoyants, and I spoke to 2 of them, and they were so close on the case as far as like where the bodies were going to be found. They were very close. It shocked you. It really would. That they knew that we were going to find those bodies there.
Without naming anyone, were they local people?
No, they weren't.
Okay.
One was from New York, and we had one from, I want to say they were from either South Carolina or North Carolina. I mean, I got their names and stuff and talking to them, and they very calmly said, this is where you're going to find them.
So this really garnered a lot of national attention.
It did. It actually was on CBS, NBC, and ABC on the nightly news.
And now you're on KWBJ.
Yeah,
All
that's right. I'm moving up.
All right. Well, we're definitely going to talk more about goals that that have been and you want to accomplish within the city of Berwick. I got to get myself ready to say city of Berwick, and
Right.
really change my mindset when it comes to that. But we're going to take a short break. But we'll come back and we'll hit all those talking points.
Okay.
All right. Stay with us. Well, welcome back to the Voice of the Coast. Let's get right back into it. Mayor Duval Arthur, the city of Berwick, and we're talking about some of the goals that you want to accomplish, you have accomplished. I mean, right at the top was getting that designation as a city, and here we are today.
Yeah.
You are now the city of Berwick, and a lot of things I'm sure are going to start changing. But I pay attention to the city's Facebook page, and
Right.
one of which is you just received the life-size chessboard.
Right.
You have pickleball. And live after 5 this every Friday
Free
in
music,
April, free
yeah.
music. So I mean, you guys are really starting to move and shake some things.
Our biggest goal that we have right now, bar none, is getting business to locate in Berwick. You know, we're getting to be a good-sized town, or a good-sized city now.
That's it.
And the only taker that I've got so far is like on a grocery store has been Nunu's and over in the Lafayette area. And I'm anticipating him this year getting with me and picking out some property and starting off with a smaller store and then growing. He hopes to make it grow.
What about the subdivisions that I can't tell you, but I've passed through Berwick a couple of times. Are they a little stagnant? What's going on? I mean, or is there? I don't know. I haven't kept up with it. So what's the deal?
Well, very few of them have been sold. Now, I don't know, well, I say that, and by the Civic Center, all of those have been sold already.
Okay.
Yeah, people are just starting to build.
Gotcha.
One of the hangups, Danica, with this is the COVID-19 drove the price of lumber and shingles and wood, and it's drove up the price of everything. And instead of people going ahead starting their construction, they're just sitting on it and waiting till the price of the products that they use to build a house goes down.
Yeah.
So that's what's holding us up right now.
So that answers my question though. But they've sold property. It's just a matter of getting it
Right.
started.
Okay. All that property there has been sold and there's actually one house that's going up at that subdivision.
Gotcha.
It's going to be a huge house.
Yeah, these are some big lots.
They are.
Yes.
There's 5-acre lots.
Okay, so that in itself is saying people are moving into
Oh, I'm
Berwick.
sorry, 3-acre lots. They're not there.
Okay.
3-acre lots.
Yeah, that's pretty big.
Big
Yes.
lots.
Now, is there water there?
What you mean?
There's no water access on that side
For what?
for those homes. Those homes, there's no
No,
water
the
access.
drinking water, we have.
No, a bayou or bodies of water.
No,
There's no water
they've
there.
got some canals back there.
Okay.
And they could actually maneuver around those canals because they're wide enough and big enough that you could put a pirogue or a canoe and paddle around.
Okay, let's talk streets, drains. I know Country Club at one time, that's done, right?
No, it's not done yet.
Not done?
Okay.
Okay.
What happened? We put it out on bids, and we got the bids in, and again, because of the price of the materials, we've had to cancel those bids. We applied back to the state, resubmitted that same grant that we got, and trying to increase the amount that we're going to get because of the COVID-19. The cost of what we were going to do there is over $500,000 more than what we anticipated, just from the price of all the materials going up.
Okay, well, I know the last time we talked, I thought we were full steam ahead.
We were full speed ahead. We have all the drawings, plans to do the work. Like I said, we had $1.5 million. We're going to need $2 million, so we're trying to apply for $500,000 more for our grant.
Let's talk streets, potholes.
We're knocking those out. Our streets are in great shape. We only have one street in Berwick that's not paved. We've got a grant for that. Architect is drawing up the plans, and we're going to be putting out on bids real soon.
Okay. How's City Hall? I can say that now.
City Hall
the roof
is
and-
complete.
Okay.
We've got a couple of issues with construction that we're trying to work out with the contractor. And other than that, we're going to be having a grand opening real soon.
Okay.
And
Can't wait for my invitation.
yes.
All right. Thank you so much for meeting with us. We really appreciate this. And also, again, just hats off to you. I'm glad I got some more information about that case. I've been wanting to do that with you for some time, but now that there's a film crew here, I had to kind of get in on that as well.
Right.
But thank you very much. And also thank you for your service. And thank you. And make sure to join us on Facebook. We are KWBJ TV 22. Please take care.